you talk about Karen.
Okay, Sistas fans. Now, I was looking at the comment section on the season 1 flashback video I did yesterday, and I wouldn't mind doing something like that every now and then whenever I come across a clip. Look, I'm not gonna lie, I am not actively going out of my way to like go through seasons to find stuff. I'll mention stuff in passing in my reviews and all, like, hey, I remember in season 2 when somebody tried to call out Andi for this, and now it's coming up again or something like that in season 4. But there are different Instagram pages. There are some super fans out there that tag me in all kinds of posts on Twitter, Instagram, or even on Facebook, like, hey, remember this clip when Karen said this? And from time to time, I'll, do videos on it. And I felt like that video I did yesterday about Andi explaining why Zach and Karen's relationship wouldn't work was definitely something worthy of reviewing. But reading the comment section, a lot of people were saying the same thing that even DeVal was posting during the mid-season finale when Danni was trying to talk sense into Karen. Ever noticed how the women always are pointing out to Karen how Zach put her through this, how Zach did that, how Zach won't shit, but nobody brings up, what she did to Karen, how she made him feel, the fact that he, she found Aaron and chose him before Fatima even came into the picture. Getting him arrested for no good reason at all. I mean, remember, this was when the girls were all vouching for Zach, saying, look, Karen, I don't know, Zach stealing from you with that credit card, that doesn't seem like it's something he would do. Which is very strange, because when you look at it from that perspective, the sisters of old were usually backing Zach. And in some cases, like, for example, after he got arrested for, breaking into the hotel room to attack Aaron, the girls were telling, well, mainly Andi and Danni, they were, telling Karen to get Zach out of jail so he doesn't lose his job. But then again, they weren't the ones who were, followed and intruded upon. And in that situation, I was with Karen. I was like, she has no responsibility to get that man out of jail for his own stupidity, So her girls, pretty much standing against her, I felt was pretty messed up. But then when you look at recent actions of the girls, like assuming the worst of Zach, you know what? Yeah, I think Zach was the one that set Preston up with this girl and that girl. And you know what? I think Zach did do this. And it's like, keep the man's name out your mouth. He's trying to live. I feel like that's the major contrast. I mean, maybe Tyler wrote this on purpose, where it shows the major contrast between Zatima and all the other main characters in general. The fact that they're maturing and changing for the better. Sure, they have their flaws, they mess up, but at the end of the day, they're attempting to change for the better. They're trying to grow, whereas the sisters aren't. They're just going to be stuck in their own shit. And as a result, they're quick to point the finger and, talk about how this person didn't do this and that person didn't do that. But none of them point the finger at themselves. Yes, there are times when some of the sisters will call out another sister on their BS. But more often than not, it doesn't go anywhere. And as a result, the person who needs to grow, the person who needs to fix something, never looks in the mirror and sees the problems. All they see is, Zach put me into this situation. You know what? Preston is the reason we didn't work out, Danny's saying. Or, Sabrina, I don't really know what Sabrina's saying. Sabrina just wants to drink and have somebody else do the thinking for her. And Andi, oh boy, let's not even go down that road. But this video is really, I know I talked about this subject before, but it's about the fact that nobody calls out Karen on her own shortcomings and whatnot. But in the new promo, the 30-second promo, Danny's on the phone, I believe with Andi, saying, we really need to talk about Karen. And I feel like this is her talking to Andi about, hey, she was over at my place last night. She was talking crazy. Really, girl? She was over at my place too, talking about Zach being arrested and whatnot. And it's just one of those things where they can tell she's becoming more and more unraveled and irrational. So what I'm thinking here is, will the girls finally call out Karen on her bullshit? The thing is, like I said earlier in the video, they're quick to always say, remember everything Zach put you through, remember everything and this and that and all the cheating and, what you taking care of him and whatnot. Again, you chose Aaron. Why aren't you pursuing him? or pursuing a relationship with him. You threw that man in jail. And the thing is, Zach already explained, that's what makes the scene so annoying from, the Karen perspective. Zach has explained it each, forwards and backwards why he doesn't want to get back together with you, yet you're still pursuing him. I mean, in some ways, Steve Urkel is making Karen look more irrational than he was, the way he would stalk and whatnot with Laura on Family Matters. It's just that, man, what was I thinking? I was thinking about this last night because ever since Kevin Samuels passed, all of his videos have gone like even more viral with other content creators reposting or giving their responses, and I'm thinking, I wonder what it would have been like if Kevin Samuels would have critiqued the sisters, Andi, Sabrina, Danni, and Karen. The fact that it's a common thing for them to talk about in the show about, what, I deserve this. I want to, maybe they don't use the exact words, but, I want to be loved and this and that. And my man needs to do this, a high value man. Again, they never really use those exact phrases, but in terms like, I just want to be loved. I just want to be this. I just want to be that. But how many of these women have been doing the work? How many of these women have been doing the work in order to get and maintain a healthy relationship with these men that they want? I mean, Gary has on numerous occasions has said, oh, I'm doing the work, I'm getting therapy, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. But obviously, like Madea would say in those old plays and movies, sometimes it's like a bad perm, it just don't hold. And then with Sabrina, I mean, I feel like Kevin would just be done with her in a matter of seconds. The man's gay. What? I mean, what? Well, he said he isn't. Does he wear a thong? Well, he used to. How does he interact with other men? Well, he did kiss another man on the lips one time. Move on. Danni would be like, lady, you just for the streets. You don't know what you want. I mean, you're telling me a white man, he told you he was willing to do the work. He wanted you to show him how to love you correctly, and you opted to have sex with a stripper. Yeah. Okay. And what about you, man? Miss Barnes, what about you? I just want to be loved. I just want to be held. Are you a materialistic woman? Well, what? I mean, do you like the finer things in life? Well, yeah, I mean... And you're telling me the man that you love so much, you were interacting with, having an affair while he was married, and then his ex-wife jumped you in the parking lot with some girls and held you at gunpoint. This man was arrested by the FBI at another point, and you still want to interact with him? I mean, he only bruised my ribs one time, but the surprise wedding he gave me, man, put you in a nut house. Karen, what about you? Okay, yeah, you had a low-value man. You thought you could build him up. But then after you dumped him for somebody else, he found another woman to build him up. You need to move on. So it's just one of those things where I hope that if there is a, what do they call it, an intervention or whatever with the girls and Karen, part of me feels like it ain't going to do shit. Because think of it this way. How many times have the girls all gotten together to confront Andi about Gary, and yet here we are in season 4 and it's the same shit over and over again? With Karen, it's like, well, I don't know. I want to, okay, part of me is like, I'm tired of talking about it, but this is where the views are, so I got to talk about it. But I just don't know what they can do in order to make this woman wake up, because she's the one who's going to have to realize the truth at the end of the day. But I don't know, guys. I just hope that they really do talk about it. Maybe not Sabrina, nothing against her. I feel like she's obviously the friendly, passive. Sabrina is the Sinclair of the friend group, like compared to Living Single. Max is Danni. Well, arguably Khadijah, but then again, I'm talking like, the loudmouth freeloading friend. But she's a lawyer like Andi, and their hairstyles are kind of the same. I don't know. Okay. Regine is definitely Karen. Yeah, there we go. So Sinclair is Sabrina. Karen is definitely Regine. But then when it comes down to Khadijah and well, then again, you could also argue, nah, I don't know. You know, I'll say Khadijah is Andi because, again, they're like the main character of the group. And then when it comes to Danni, that's definitely Max. So I feel like Sabrina, she would just be there to try to talk some sense into him. But I just feel like Karen, oh, well, actually, maybe the girls will have that intervention, like when they go over to Karen's place and they walk in on her and Aaron together. So that could be it. I don't know, but let me know your thoughts. Do you think the girls will finally call out Karen on her bullcrap? But despite the fact that I wish they would have done it all those times before, I think, and I want to give the sisters a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. When you're trying to tell somebody, when you're trying to get someone to see clearly when they're clearly delusional, they're not going to see their own flaws even when you point it out to them over and over again. So maybe the best thing for you to do in that situation is to talk about, hey, here is why this other person isn't as, you know, great as you think they are. Kind of like in the same way that Miss Alice was trying to get Lydia to see John isn't the right guy for her and why they shouldn't have a baby together right away. On bruh, that could be it. But again, I'm not trying to make excuses. I feel like, you know, not just Karen, but all these women need to be called out for their crap. But in love, there's a difference between doing it out of spite and then out of love. Like, for example, the way that Danni constantly harasses and talks about Calvin is just messed up. But it's just like, well, sometimes you got to realize you shouldn't go to certain people with your problems because they're only going to ridicule you as opposed to give you good advice. So, you know, I don't know. There's always, the sisters all know, okay, here's the sister I need to go to if I want the truth, Danni. Here's someone who I'm going to need to go to validate the way I feel. Probably Andi, give or take. And here's the one I need to go to if I just want to, I don't know, get no real answer, but you'll do the right thing, Sabrina. So thanks so much for tuning in to this video. Hopefully Karen gets called out on her crap at some point. I mean, if nobody else, Fatima just needs to tell her ass off. Leave it at that. So thanks so much for tuning in. Hit the thumbs up button to show you like the video. Hit subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.